Papa Swoleo's going live. Oh, oh, oh. Papa Swoleo's coming for you. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, oh, oh. It's Swole Saturday, beaches. Papa Swoleo's ready to lay some smack down. The smack down. Oh, oh, oh.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Test, test, test. Testing, testicles. Test, test, test. Testicles, testicles. Welcome, everyone, to episode 785 of the Daily Mother. Whoa, the most muscular swolecast, beardcast, broadcast, gaincast, mancast, pimpcast, and sleazecast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. What's going on, beaches? What is the dilly yo-yo? It's your boy, Papa Swoleo, and I'm here to lay some knowledge nukes and knowledge nuts right across your chin. Have another amazing episode. Happy Swole Saturday, everyone. Happy Swole Saturday. And I'm here with Dennis, and Dennis has an amazing journey. Dennis has an amazing story, and we are going to lay into it right now. So what's going on, Rodney, Greg, David, Michael, Ryan, Jake, Abigail? Yeah, tag someone, share this broadcast. Let's get him in. Ask questions, and I will feed them over to him. Let's bring up Dale right now, and let me just get him back on. So a nice warm welcome to Dale, and you can follow Dale on Instagram, No Excuses Used, and you can see the below where you can follow him on Instagram. So let me bring the man back on. Dale, what's going on? You're live with Papa Swoleo on the Daily Sleaze. What's up, man?
What's up, Sam? How you doing? What's up, Dash?
So I just gave you the little rundown, and I talked you up huge. I put you on I put you on a pedestal, bro. I put you on that pedestal. So now it's all about the performance. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, now I'm in trouble.
Yeah. So let's kind of go back to the beginning, where you started. And I know we talked for a couple minutes. You found my content on YouTube, but let's go back to like where you started with your fitness journey, and then how you came into all of this. And yeah, from your perspective, what's a little bit of like a summary of your personal experience with all of this?
Well, it probably really started in 2016. My dad died on my birthday, and I had to be there for everybody in the family, so I never really grieved and let it go, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
And so kind of went on with it, and then I set a goal to lose some weight, kind of for my daughter's wedding, because I didn't want to be huge walking her down the aisle, but that was kind of in a way dumb because it never progressed past that point. And then my mom had passed 15 months later, May last year, and she died basically of diabetes. So, and I was there, and it was peaceful, but I went for my checkup 2 weeks later, and they told me I had diabetes, and that wasn't going to work for me. I'm not dying of this. I saw her go through so much over the years, so I was on medication for a while, only for 5 weeks actually. I got rid of it in 5 weeks, but I joined a gym and just started watching like motivation videos and stuff to keep me going, and had support of my wife, and that was great. And then I stumbled across you on YouTube, and that was like, it was like, where's this guy been? This is perfect. I firmly believe once I started this, there was no excuses, and that's exactly what you preached. And it was like, okay, this is going to be great. And so, I joined Swole Enormous X, and that's been awesome. Just the workouts and everything, and and then I paid for a gym membership, and I have a trainer for a year, and I just want to be committed. I don't want to have excuses of not being able to do something, and that's kind of like what I'm living by right now. Is just no excuses, because there really isn't. I mean, for me to go eat because I lost both parents and all that. I mean, everybody's going to lose a parent. I mean, it unfortunately it happens. And,
Right. Eventually, yeah.
So it's like, I needed to stop making excuses of eating bad, and And half the time I didn't even realize I was doing it because, I mean, we were talking literally, my wife was making me these great green drinks, and and then I'd go and have Dodger dogs in between my green drink and my lunch. And I'm like, what are you doing? And she, you know, and then I was embarrassed and I wouldn't even tell her. And that's, you know, eventually I did, but
Yeah.
it you know, became such a problem. And I'm like, now I just, there's no way I'm going to do that. And
So Dennis, I'm actually, I just put it up before. What's the time frame between those two pictures that I have up right now, the before and after?
That picture was basically probably May of 2017, and the last one was June of this year.
All right.
Actually, no, May. It was last month.
So about a year. About a year.
About a year, yeah.
Wow, and that's phenomenal. So, and what was the weight loss from? What were the numbers? The weight loss from the left and right.
The first picture is 310, and right now I'm at 220, 219.
So you lost. So you probably lost about 100 pounds plus of fat because you obviously put on muscle. I mean, look at your arms, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
that shirt that's probably the best shirt ever. I love it.
I thought of you. That's what I mean. I think it's like I had to get that shirt.
I love it. I love it. I have a certain shirt like that that I'm designing. So I'll send you one once I'll send you one once I release it. That's great. I love it.
Awesome, because I have your shirts too. I have the gray, the black. I mean, I wear your shirts to the gym all the time.
I love it, man.
It is.
I love it. You know, it's you had like you said, your family member passed on your birthday. My grandmother passed on my birthday, ironically, and that was 2015. That was like August of 2015. So like after my grandparents passed, that's really when I threw myself in and absorbed myself 110% into Swolenormous and building the brand and the community. And I really went all in. So it was a huge motivating factor. I like how you took that negative. I mean, of course, it's a process of life, and it's just the circle of life, if you want to call it that. But it's something that's going to happen. But I like how you took that and turned it into a positive, that you didn't want to follow in those footsteps. If so, you know, X, Y, and Z is diabetic and you had that signal, a lot of people just accept it. Like, what was the difference between you accepting the fact that you had diabetes and just being like, oh, it runs in my family, I'm destined to have this, rather than fuck this, I'm not going to let that happen to me?
Well, I think my attitude actually before my mom died was I didn't care and didn't really realize it. I mean, I've always, you know, had the great support of my wife, which has been huge. But when I saw her die, I mean, she didn't, you know, it was peaceful. I mean, I don't think she was in pain, but I know a few days before, I believe she had a stroke because she couldn't talk, and she would try to sign to me, and it was just, to me, it was like a message because I was the only one there when she passed. My son was up there, and but he wasn't there at that moment. Nobody, it was just my mom and I. And
I see.
So it was like kind of like, you know, okay, you know, you need to take care of yourself. And so, I mean, it just really hit me. And I went, especially finding out, 2 weeks after she died, that I had it. And I'm like, I saw her go through, you know, so much where, you know, just the transition of, like, you know, her heart. She had, you know, first a stent, then the pacemaker, and all those, you know, issues that come with diabetes. I mean, the only good thing she had, which I don't have, is eyesight, which was kind of funny. She had 20/20 eyesight, but I don't know how that happened. But
it was a real wake up call. It was a real wake up call.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, and it's like, I just want to live my life the healthiest I can now. It's like,
well, dude, I mean,
it's great. I mean,
these pictures are phenomenal. So you're obviously doing that, and you did it the right way, and it's working for you. I got a couple people asking about the foods that we stay away from. So you're well aware of the elimination diet. You've done it. Either you're still on it. I'm not sure exactly what you're doing this moment, but we talked about that. We touched upon it before the show. A lot of people know what I stay away from. What did you do when you started training? Like, what was it from a nutrition standpoint? Because a lot of people get stuck up on the first steps. Like, what do I eat? What should I not eat? What did you do personally when you started this journey? What'd you cut out?
Well, I mean, it gradually got healthier, obviously, but I mean, like, I would still go, you know, to Carl's Jr., which isn't obviously grass-fed meat, but I mean, I wouldn't get the bun. I would get the lettuce wrap burger with no mayo, no cheese. You know, I would try to go like El Pollo, because sometimes, unfortunately, with my job being a truck driver, I do have to, you know, stop if I don't bring a lunch. Now I try to, you know, meal prep, of course, but when we're not able to do that, it's like that's what I do. I would no processed food. I would never get fries. Or basically all the sugars. No candy bars, no Cokes. I mean, I really stopped drinking even alcohol, which wasn't a big deal to begin with. But I just I figure anything I can cut out, and knowing that I can have it makes a huge difference. But if you know you can have it and you don't want it, that makes all the difference for me. And I just wanted to and then I gradually now, I try to get grass-fed meat. My wife knows a lot, so she helps me out with the grocery shopping, with the vegetables, and I try to eat green vegetables. I usually have hard-boiled eggs in the morning. I love eggs, and we were talking about that. Sweet potatoes for sure. I mean, that's just like total dessert for me.
I know it's not. It's almost not like a food. It's a treat. It's just it tastes like it's like food.
Really
it's like food ice cream, essentially.
Exactly.
I love it. So I mean, it's really cool that you didn't. It just sounds like you didn't pressure yourself to do everything, I guess, perfect. It sounds like you literally just started. A lot of people that I talk to, they're looking for a complete 180. And I understand when someone is overweight and they're excited, right? That initial quote motivation that we talk about, that we try to avoid because it's a lot of surface emotion and it's very temporary. But people usually want to jump all in and go completely 180 degrees, and it's usually too hard for them to maintain. You just kind of, you chipped away until you were really got the ball rolling, until you got that momentum. You just didn't, you cut out the bun, you made the little changes that were pretty obvious. What was the food that you really noticed when you cut out, you saw a drastic change in how you feel and in weight loss? Was there one food that really stood out that when you cut it out, game changer?
Actually, yeah, believe it or not, just crappy food at like 7-Eleven, because that's what I would stop. I'd get, pizza and just like the fried stuff. So I don't eat anything fried or, anything like that now. And so I think that made a huge difference right there. I was never really a big like Coke person, drinking Pepsi or Coke, iced tea. I don't even drink iced tea much now as much. It's mostly water and like cold brewed coffee. I drink that a lot. But yeah, mostly it was just cutting out just like the crappy food that you can buy at a convenience store, like an AM/PM or 7-Eleven type of store. That's what I noticed the biggest thing. But then I also took like little victories, like if my wife wasn't necessarily eating the same thing, so once in a while she would get a burger with fries, and if I didn't take a fry from her plate, that's a victory. I mean, that's like awesome, especially in the beginning when you still want that French fry. But
sure.
If you walk away from that to me, that's don't discount the 50 pounds you've lost or 25 pounds you've lost. That's a victory. And then I counted all those big. I still do. I mean,
it all matters. 1 pound, you don't lose 50 pounds at once. You lose 1 pound at a time, and they add up. And those little minor, those little, especially at the beginning, those little minuscule victories where you have a temptation. Hey, do you want to slice this pizza? No, I'm good. And that's like that's an internal win. And it's funny because I still have that. And I'm sure everyone thinks, oh, it's easy for you. I mean, it's habitual for me. It's never really the same. It's not, I wouldn't say it's easy. It's just, I have hardened my brain to doing that. Like there was a family event last week and everyone was having pizza and ice cream cake. And I was sipping bone broth that I brought and I just hung out. You can be social and not have to stuff your face. You don't have to be rude about it, and no one else has to be rude about it. Like you don't have to be there and you have to be the food Nazi and be scolding everyone while they're eating it, but you don't have to join in if that's their choice, right?
I mean, yeah, that's what I've learned from you, and that's what I do. And it's like I have 100% confidence. I can go anywhere.
Yeah.
If I can't find something to eat, then I won't eat there, and that's okay. And like you talked about family, we have a family reunion coming up in August, and and luckily it's a buffet type of thing where you bring your own. So I know my wife will make something healthy, and that's what I'll go with.
There you go.
No salad, so it's like I have no problem that I don't have to have the potato salad, the stuff that that isn't good for me. So
it's that separation of the separation of entertainment and food, and that's completely connected. I think it's been like that since the beginning of time. Humans have always congregated around big meals and big festivals and food. It's just in more like recent 100 years or so, it's been crappy garbage food. It's not real food. So we are every little entertainment. I think you've heard the episodes where I talk about all the holidays throughout the year. It's pretty much it's like the entire year are a bunch of landmines. Every month there's a landmine where it's just trying to blow your leg off or something, and every week, and then within the week there's the Friday, the happy hour, and Saturday, and there's a football game on Sunday, and then there's like a Monday night football. It's almost everything is just temptations nonstop.
Yeah, exactly. And then that's where I go with like, my faulty no excuses because, I mean, you can find stuff healthy. I mean, there's vegetables to have with, instead of grabbing chips. I mean,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving, there's turkey. There is healthier choices. You don't have to have the gravy and the dressing and that's huge and like I say, once you do that, it's like, to me, it's a victory. It's like one of, just like losing 50 pounds, 75 pounds, that they all count and
Sure.
they all keep me, disciplined. And that was one thing I learned with you. I love that quote, my motivation is temporary, discipline is forever. I mean, I wrote that down on a cue card too. And it's like, when I retire, when we move to a different house, I want to put that up. I mean, I see a wall and it's just like, I love that.
Oh, it's great,
wife will give
man.
me quotes too.
It's great to get like that. Just get that positive reinforcement. I have Aaron on Facebook just said, family is the most difficult to deal with, which is ironic because they should be the most supportive. It sounds like you had a ton of support from your wife from the beginning. Was there anyone, you don't have to name names, of course, but was there anyone in your family that was kind of pushing back at all? Or did you just have your blinders on from the beginning and just ignore everything?
Just my really blinders. I mean, nobody, I mean, no, because like my son's been, my kids are kind of far away, so they're like phone calls. But they've been supportive. But my wife has definitely been the most supportive.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, she makes, whatever I want, she'll make it. She's a great cook, so it's like, I talk. We go get grass. She'll go get the grass fed beef and stuff. In fact, I think that's what we're having for dinner tonight with vegetables. And I mean, she looks up stuff for like carb count, because that's kind of how I started too, with low carbs because of the diabetes.
Mm-hmm.
I try to keep them under 200, and now I periodically just check my blood sugar. Still, I don't necessarily need to. I don't count anything. I'm kind of like you that way. My body really does tell me when I'm hungry, tells me what to eat, and I mean that's an awesome feeling when you get to that, when it's like, I'm not bored, so I'm going to go grab a bag of potato chips. It's like, no, I mean, I'm really hungry.
Yeah.
And that's huge. So it's like, but yeah, being blessed to have the support of my wife, and she's not necessarily doing the same thing with me. That's even better, because it's not. I mean, she could just say, "Well, yeah, I'm doing my thing," and but she doesn't. I mean, she doesn't give me any hassle about going to the gym. Like, I hear other guys are like, "Oh, you're going to the gym?" My wife's like, "Okay, go." I mean, she knows it. I mean, ultimately, it's better for her too. I'm around, I'm healthier, and
Of course, everyone wins. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and she's really good for that. So it's like there's no jealousy of the gym over her and anything
Yeah.
like that.
Well, people, usually that comes down to that person's, what they're working through within themselves. If someone's hating on what you're passionate about, if there's real love and support, then they want you to be happy and they want you to follow even if it's, you want it like that separate togetherness. You have to be together in the track of life, but you have to communicate and make sure that the other person is fulfilling their own passions. But it's great that she's getting involved. Have you seen the impact on other family members or friends? Has anyone else gotten on the gain train, so to speak, since you've been on? Been like, holy shit, he can do it. Let me do it too.
I have a few friends at work now that are doing it, that are making better choices, because like they'll look at me and then they're like, wow, I didn't even recognize you from the back anymore. And I see one guy from work because we go to the same gym, and I'll see him every once in a while there now. And before I would never see him, and so it's like little things like that. And that's what I end up, ultimately want to do when I retire, is just be a trainer and help people that weighed over 200 pounds and know what the struggle is, and just that it is a journey. It's not like you're not gonna do this in 10 minutes and you're gonna be, because I know my body now is going to be hugely different in a year from now, and I know what I need to do, and but that's why I follow guys like you, because it's like, you've been working out for 18 years, and it's like, you don't get this body overnight, and so it's like, you got to stop and think about that. You really don't. It's like you got to work at it, and changes are going to come, but it's going to take a while, and so I'm up for that, because this is the rest of my life. This isn't just a goal. Everything used to be a goal before.
Did you have that mindset? Did you have that mindset from the beginning of the rest of your life? Like, I want to live healthy. Was that Like, what was the primary goal in your mind? What was the how should I say? What was the purpose that you were holding on to? Because as we talked about, the emotion and the motivation that's gonna come and go. And there's everyone has days where you don't want to go train, but you do it anyway, and then you're always happy about it. But what kept you going? What was like was there one thought or one image or something that just kept you honest with yourself, so to speak?
Yeah, I believe it was to make it a life journey, because I unfortunately this is the third time I've weighed over 300 pounds, and so I've lost the weight with just weight loss. And you get, well, wow, I look pretty good in these pants now. These pants fit, and it's never been like, looking into the future. It's like,
Yeah.
I'm 54. I want to be 74 and still be able to go to the gym and look good. Like maybe mow my front lawn without a shirt on. I mean, I want those things, and I want to be healthy. I want to be able to tie my shoe and not be out of breath. And so this time it's not just the goal. I mean, actually, like you have said in the past, scale doesn't mean anything to me anymore, because I remember the first time with the trainer, he used to weigh me and I gained 3 pounds. I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. I haven't done anything but work my butt off. And he measured me and I had lost 3 inches in my waist. And he goes, we're not going to scale. We're not putting down your weight anymore. So it's like every once in a while I just look at my weight just because, but the number is, it's all about fitness, and being healthy. So
Yeah.
it's like now it's just my life, and yeah, it's definitely not. There's no goal, and that's where I'm going to stop. That's where I've been before, and now it's like
Just
I want to do this the rest
look at
of my
those
life.
results, man. I mean, I'm pulling up the picture again. It's up again. Like, that's it's a different person. I mean, you can see with the smile and the face. I mean, you still don't have hair, which is you didn't
I know.
you didn't grow hair from it. But dude, this is, I mean, it's amazing. You're just a different person, but you can see in your face. And people were mentioning on Facebook, and Brad said you transformed into Stone Cold Steve Austin.
I get that.
I'm sure you get that sometimes. That's awesome. But
Good
yeah,
as butterbean.
yeah. It's just it's a different, it's just I mean, you're doing it for you, but just the fact that transformation, it's hard to quantify. It's hard to quantify the change that happens with the people around you, because they might not tell you that you've inspired them. They might not tell you, but everyone sees that. I mean, you're going around and you're meeting people and you're seeing people that you haven't seen. And I mean, did that happen a lot? Like, holy crap, bro, what happened to you? Did people not recognize you, or were they just like freaking out when they saw you after a long period of time?
Yeah, some people. Yeah, definitely. I mean, not a whole lot. Like my Facebook, I haven't really. I put some pictures up, but I haven't really like put up. I'll probably write something next month will be the full year that I had the gym, and so I might put up something then. But if people that have seen me are like, definitely noticed difference, like, and especially people like at work, because there's some people I don't see for months at my job, and they're like, man, I didn't even recognize you from the back. I didn't know that was you. And it's like, I mean, I love those compliments, because it just keeps me disciplined, and definitely want to, just keep doing this. And now it's like, I have no doubt. Like I told you, I've been a little sick the last week and been having to go to the gym. And like, this is the first time in my life I'm like, pissed I'm not going to the gym. I'm like, because I know if I go, it'll just make it worse. And I mean,
Right.
I'll probably be doing it tomorrow for sure. And it's like, I love that feeling. It's like I told you a year ago, if you told me you're going to be mad because you're not going to the gym, I'm like, yeah, right. And, oh, I'm sick. Okay, I guess I won't have to go to the gym today. And now it does. It gets into you. It's like you have to do something, and I don't want to ever miss. And like I say, no excuses. You go on trips. There's push-ups with chairs. I was telling you about my TRX
Yeah.
straps with me when I go to use them when I went to the hotel, because they didn't have a gym. And so it's you just got to make it work. And like I said, getting these ideas from you helps, and watching your workouts really are awesome. I mean, I started yoga because of you, and I need to do it more often. That's for sure. That's something I want to do in the next year, is more yoga, because that's helped my little bit of lower back pain that I have, which is nothing compared to what other people have, but it totally helps my lower back. It's like, wow, that's gone now. I can do this and it doesn't hurt. And
Right on, man.
it's amazing.
I just brought up a picture of Steve Austin next to your face, and yeah, you look the same. I just read. It looks like you. No, it's actually pretty striking. That's pretty awesome. So let's go back to, all right, enough of that. Let's go back to your profession. So and you're not the first person that's a part of the X community or a part of this community or has mentioned that you're in a truck a lot, right? You're driving. I mean, when you're a truck driver, you're putting in long hours. I want to discuss a little bit more because when someone like yourself can, and I'll bring up the split screen again. When someone like yourself has made that drastic of a change and you have that kind of profession and that's your kind of your daily routine, the excuses, and obviously no pun intended or no irony there that your Instagram name is no excuses used. If you can get it done, what excuse does anyone else have? Like, oh, I don't have time. It's like this guy's in a truck all day and he's getting it done. So what were some of the, or what are some of the tricks and the tips and the strategies that you use being on the road? We touched upon them a little bit. Someone else is mentioning that they're making their own food, they're doing their own shopping and ignoring the comments and the looks. Everyone's going to be critical, but with trucking, I'm sure there's a community there too. I don't know, what's the dynamic with what you're doing on the road? Because that's a challenge for a lot of people that are commuting a lot or don't have a lot of time. Like, how do you eliminate those excuses? What did you actually implement in your day to make sure you got it done?
Well, my gym is like a huge part. My gym is like a family. They're really, I got lucky. We were talking about that. It's a small gym.
Yeah.
And, the owner is an ex-boxer, so I go there right after work. And most people can go out in the morning, but I start so early in the morning that no gym's open. I don't have a 24-hour gym, so I go in the afternoon. But that's because if I go home and then I watch TV or something, then there's an excuse. Well, I'm too tired, so I go every day. Usually right after work, I go to the gym, do my workout, then I come home, and it's great. And then take my little dog for a walk, and so it's just still constantly doing something. And then I do relax, eat my dinner, but I make that I have to go to the gym, unless stuff does come up, obviously appointments and things. But I mean, I don't make an excuse that I'm tired. That's just like I say, following you and following other people that, guys with no arms and legs that are working out. It's like, what excuse do I have? Because like you said, big deal. You work a 10-hour day. I mean, if you got a half hour to go sit on a couch and watch a TV show or an hour, you can go to the gym. And
no doubt, man.
What I do. I get it done, so I get it done in the afternoon, and, and it's great. I just really believe, like, no excuses. That's such a true thing. It's not a cliche saying. It's really, you got to make it happen. Otherwise you just, it keeps building. That was my past. I think, I mentioned I haven't had a cheat meal yet, because I would go and have a cheat meal. Oh, well, I still haven't gained any weight. Now it's 2 cheat meals. Now it's a day. And then I'm back to the way I was. It's like, I don't need to do that. I want to, and just be healthy. And that's the way it should be. Not worry about, should I have pizza today or not have
Sure.
pizza. That's not a,
Brad mentioned, how about your back? Because he said driving a rig is very taxing on your back. I mean, sitting is taxing on your back. I get it when I'm on this ball, when I'm sitting, when I'm editing. Did you have any issues like that with just posture or back pain, things like that?
Yeah, that's my like I say, I have slight bulging lower discs, like the L2 or 3, I think, are slight bulging.
Okay.
So what I do is I get out of the truck, and I stretch more so now than I used to, and and then, like I say, now I do back exercise. Before I went to the gym, I never really did anything for my back. So, that helps, strengthening there helps for sure. And then, like I say, doing the yoga when I can, that's an excuse. I should just do it. and that makes a big difference. I'm like, wow. I mean, just like the first time I did it, I'm like, really? That helped my back that much? And so, I mean, definitely if you're sitting, do the yoga. I mean, go on, swim on the X and do that, because that's a game changer if you have any type of bad back, and so I really can't say that I have a bad back now. I mean, it'll still be stiff a little bit, but I mean, you can stretch that out.
Yeah, you're gonna have those. You're gonna still get stiff. I still get it, but then you have the, you're creating the right movement patterns in order to release it, because just like your body will get adapted to sitting down, your body will also get adapted to doing yoga. So you have to balance that out. Yeah, Kirsty, what makes the good gym? I mean, in my opinion, Kirsty's asking what makes a good gym. I mean, I I often tell people, because sometimes you get into a plateau, you get into a rut, and sometimes as easy as, instead of going to your normal gym for your membership, go get a day pass somewhere else. Go mix up your location, mix up your environment. And you have a good environment. You obviously found a little community and a small, just something that works for you. Some people like big gyms. Some people like gyms that are hardcore, that play heavy metal. Do you have any advice for someone that's, okay, what makes it, if they're never worked out before and they're intimidated by gyms, is there something that you would say for someone that's looking for a place to train? Like, what should they look for?
I would recommend definitely a smaller gym if you're intimidated, because these guys were great. I mean, from I got 20-year-olds to the owners my age, and they all treat me with the same respect. You know, it's like I'm not just the old guy. If you're who you are, you're the same person. They're like, if you go there and you're a member, your family. They've given me so much advice. I mean, I consider them friends at the gym. I mean, it really has made a big difference. The trainers are there. There's some classes, they have boxing classes. I mean, I took a boxing class, and the girl that taught it's 21 years old, and and she's giving me pointers, and it's like, it was great. I mean, no, they don't treat you any different, because what I liked about it was, when I went in, I had to go, I was doing decline bench press, and I couldn't get off the bench. My trainer had held me. It's like, that's kind of embarrassing, but there's nobody there going to laugh at you. I mean, even the guys that are built like bodybuilders, there's a few of those guys, they're there to help you. I mean, it's just, everybody's really, I got lucky, because the gym is just, like I said, nobody's there to make fun of you. And who wants that when you already feel bad about yourself, when you're heavy and, you can't do what you're going to be able to do. And that was huge for me, because I have like I was telling you, I go up north from where I live, and I go to that gym. It's a corporate gym. The guy owns 5 of them, and it's just, they wear trainer shirts on there when they walk around. I'm thinking, okay, I'm just here for me. So now I'm at the point, it doesn't matter what gym I go to, but to start, I definitely would go to a small gym if you can, or you find a big gym if they're cool. Sometimes you might get lucky that way, but definitely don't just sign up. I'd get like say day passes first, and
Yeah.
and go that route. But
As long as you, as long as you start. But yeah, I don't think any real adult should be making fun of anyone else. I know in this country, everyone takes offense to every little thing, but there shouldn't be any trainer, anyone that's a professional in fitness. I would never, ever. I see people doing stupid shit in the gym all the time. I think it's funny, but I'm never knocking them for being there. People are getting it done. You're in the gym. You could be in a worse place. I mean, you're in the right spot. And then it's just a matter of going there and doing the work and doing it the right way, and learning, and not staying, not being stagnant, trying to grow and progress yourself and actually put in effort. A lot of people just go because they have a membership. They walk through the door, they swipe their pass, and they go on the treadmill, and they go and they do this. Do you see a lot of people that just don't change? They go there and they just never, ever, because obviously you've changed, and in a relatively short amount of time, 1 year in the course of your entire life is a very short period of time. You've overcome and completely changed the person that you look like. You transformed your body. Do you see people that have been going there for the same amount of time that have just not changed at all?
Yeah, unfortunately I do. And and one thing I learned too is like they're basically just doing the treadmill and not lifting weights. And that was, from you and other people, that's the huge thing. I do very little cardio, and I found a big difference in my body changing from that. And it's like, wow. I mean, but I do, like when I do sets, I don't rest very much between them. I mean, basically, if I'm working by myself, I'm resting as long as it would take you to do the same reps that I'm doing, and then I go and I do it.
Right.
And so that's been huge for me that way. But yeah, unfortunately, you do see that, and people just go because to them it's kind of like a social thing, and but they are doing something, but you don't see the change in their body, and that's kind of sad. That you're making the effort, and you're not putting enough effort to make the change in your body.
Yeah.
You're just going.
Missing some pieces. I mean, and not everyone has all the pieces or knows. I mean, they're in the right spot, but yeah, it's hard to see someone spin their wheels when you're there and okay, this is how you make progress. This is how it's done. And you kind of tell that they're just never really going to get there. And maybe they don't really want to. Maybe they're just kind of, I don't know, treading water. But Ansel on YouTube asked, what is your opinion on cutting or bulking? Obviously, you were cutting this whole time. Is your goal still right now to lose more weight? Are you focusing more on a like bodybuilding, building muscle, and you're happy with where you are and you're, still changing and tweaking? What's your current approach in terms of weight loss, weight gain, composition?
Well, the weight, I mean, I started at a 50 pant size, and now I'm at a 35. So I guess I want to get to a 34 with my final. And but as far as I just want to get, I guess, leaned out. I mean, the size I'm at, I'm okay with that. I don't, because as I'm older, I don't want to pack on tons of muscle, but I do want to get leaner. I want to, have, the split in my chest because I don't have that yet. And, just a certain definition that I would, that's what I'm hoping this next year will be more of, is just to, I guess, in a sense, lean out. I don't really want to get any bigger. My arms, of course, arms can always get bigger. But, as far as everything else, I just kind of want to, be defined the right way. I mean, I work my legs too. I don't want to have bird legs and an upper body. I see that and I laugh all the time.
Yeah.
I work legs, but yeah, that's really what I want. I just want to define what the muscle I have now and lower my body fat. And because right now I think it's at like 22, I believe. So I mean, I would love to get in the teens. I mean, that's realistic, and if it's not, then still just work on my body to make it better. But
oh, it's realistic, man. It's realistic. It's just a matter of time. You're still making progress. I mean, of course, I'm sure you've seen your progress seemingly slow. Of course, you're not just going to lose endlessly until you disappear into dust. But there's going to be that period where you're more advanced than you were when you started. Your body is used to training. Your body is used to eating these certain foods. So it's adapting very well. So you'll start to see the weight start slowing in terms of loss, and that change becomes more minuscule. But that's where a lot of people get discouraged. They get stressed out because they're not seeing the same rate of progress. But that's to be expected. You're not going to endlessly just keep on going up. I mentioned yesterday the analogy with the stock market that goes up and down all the time, daily crashes up, down. But in the long term, it's going up. So just like your weight loss and your progress, there's going to be those dips. Have you seen in your journey, did you have any of those setbacks where you gained some and you kind of got discouraged, or did you notice it and then just kind of compartmentalize it and move forward? Obviously you moved forward, but what did you do, or how'd you handle that?
I've been lucky as far as like the gain. I mean, I haven't, like where my weight is now, it's kind of stayed that way for, I know I've lost a little bit, but it's been like a 3-month journey, and I probably have only lost 8 pounds. But then, like that one time I say that I was really discouraged when I gained 3 pounds. That's the only time that I know of so far since I've done this that I've gained, and that was like, that is was heartbreaking. And then I realized I lost 3 inches. So I'm like, okay, I don't care now anymore about my weight. So I mean, I am kind of plateauing. I mean, like I'm at the 35. I want to the 34s are tight. I can put them on, but I'm not wearing them in public.
Right.
Nobody wants to see a 54-year-old with skinny jeans. I mean, it's just, but I'm definitely gonna get there. And so that I've been lucky with the weight gain so far. Really, that hasn't been an issue. But plateauing and kind of staying for a period of time, and that has definitely stayed. But I'm okay with it because I know I see every little I see. Obviously, I know it's my body more than anybody because you see like veins. I mean, like ultimate is to get the vein up in the bicep. I mean, that's one of my ultimate goals too. As silly as that might sound, but because I can see the vein on my shoulder. I have more veins in my forearms now, but not quite going up the bicep yet. So
there you go. One thing at a time. It's coming. It's coming. Yeah. It's very easy to get a setback. And it's mostly. Actually, I'll let you expound on this. And Brad just mentioned on Facebook, he said, I'm going to have a good workout today because success stories always get me into the right mindset. Thanks for telling your story, Dennis. And of course, he speaks for everyone because we're all grateful for it. And it gets me amped up because I'm going to have a killer workout today. I get pumped up when I hear things like this as well. What's your opinion or what's your take on the mental strength and the brain as a muscle and the brain as something that you have to train, as well as the body, if not more important than the body?
That's the most huge thing there is doing that, because that, I mean, we had talked a little bit before we got on that I was looking at motivation. That's how I found you. Just I listened to Tony Robbins and stuff, and and I mean, it was neat because he talked a little bit about exercise, and then when I came across you, it's like that was it. I think that's you have to realize that you're going to have bad days. You're going to have good days, but just keep going on. Don't let one bad day become two bad days. I mean,
Right.
if you miss the gym, you go and you hit it harder the next day. I mean, and that's you got to make it a life tree. That was the biggest thing, changing my attitude of not just a goal to lose weight, get to a certain size, but to make it the rest of my life. That made it so much easier, because then it's like I don't have to lose 100 pounds in a year. If that happens, great, but that's not the goal now. Where before that's what it was, and so now you have to make this the rest of your life. So if it takes you 2 years, I mean, because I have a couple of friends that have had the weight loss surgery, and I'm like, I've done better than them. I have more weight loss in less than a year than they have in 2 years. So it's like, to me, the hard work that motivates me more than having the surgery, which is in my opinion, nothing really wrong with that if you need it, but it's like I've worked so hard for this. Like I don't see me falling back. Where I've seen them kind of go off the wagon, come back, and I don't want to do that.
Sure.
I want to focus.
Yeah.
So mental is definitely.
You kind of surpassed that point where you are, susceptible for that rebound. You're not at that point. You kind of broke through that. Of course, some people lose a lot of weight, see a lot of progress, and then end up falling back and gaining it all back. But it seems that is more common with people that lost their weight with diet alone, nutrition alone. They just stopped eating certain foods and they went on a crash diet or something really strict, calorically restricted, whether it's HCG or keto or something. They only did the diet. They didn't do the exercise. I feel, and obviously your proof, the proof is in the pudding and in the biceps, of course, that the weight training is I think that's what solidifies people's weight loss. If it's just the dieting, that's very easy to swing back the other way. You add the carbs back, you add a couple, fast food meals, and all of a sudden you're gaining all this water weight back. You're gaining all this water from the carbs and the grease and the inflammation. But if you're lifting weights as you're losing weight, rather than waiting and dieting first, it's going to keep it off better. Do you feel like the weight, like the training, the actual lifting is what is keeping it off, rather than just, okay, I'm, overall living a healthier lifestyle, I'm eating better? How important do you feel the lifting is in terms of just keeping it off for good?
Oh, that you nailed it. That is so important, because like I said, this is the third time I've weighed over 300 pounds, and the other two times it was basically diet, going to Weight Watchers or whatever it was, and you get to a point where you're good, but you're not doing anything to keep it off. You're just eating better, and eventually you feel more comfortable eating, so you start eating bad again. If that's what you started at. And this, I mean, when I go to the gym and I work out, I don't want to come have a cheeseburger after that, because I've worked too hard to lose this weight and do it, and it makes a huge difference on just the way my body feels,
Mm-hmm.
the way it looks. I mean, because losing the weight before, I can, like I said, I see definition now. I haven't had in probably 20 years, and so I mean, and I realize being older, it's not going to be as quickly as guys in their 20s and stuff that might be heavy and can lose that, and I'm okay with that too. But I'm still going to be better than I was, and that's what matters. And so definitely the weightlifting is huge. I mean, I never thought that would be me, but it definitely is, and that's going to be the rest of my life. I mean, I'm going to be that 90-year-old guy at the gym still doing curls.
You and me both, man. I mean, I see them. I see people in there, I see people in there twice my age freaking crushing it. So I'm looking forward to my time and to laying the record straight for the youngins when I get to that point. Yeah, the weight training, the strength training, it reinforces those habits and those healthy habits when you're training. And with Swolenormous X and with the programming in there, which you're experienced with, I usually like to approach transformations or massive weight loss or life overhauls with the training first. And I always try to preface this with nutrition is super important, but I think people should be focusing on getting their butt active first so that they have that intrinsic motivation, if we use that word, that intrinsic inspiration to self-correct their nutrition. They're more inspired intrinsically rather than, okay, I'm going to force myself to eat differently and then and then try to bring the fitness in afterwards. I feel like that physical habit will beget, so to speak, the nutrition. Did you start with the training, or you started? I mean, you started eating better, but did you start with the lifting at the same time, or was one before the other?
No, they were pretty much the same time. I mean,
Cool.
a friend actually recommended this gym, and I went and I signed up, and it's funny because I don't remember if I even told my wife I signed up, and she's like, great, and so I said that support was awesome from the beginning, and but yeah, I just joined, like I said, then I paid to have a trainer, and that was huge for me to have a trainer. Not everybody needs that. You might have a buddy. I didn't have anybody that I could count on. I knew I could count on myself.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're paying somebody, obviously they're going to show up. So that was huge for me, and I wanted to do it longer than just a month or two because I wanted to show myself that this is what I'm dedicated to, and next month will be my last month with him, but I committed myself to the year, and it was well worth every penny. I mean, for sure.
Yeah.
I learned a lot.
Obviously, you took this road and you've been successful with it. What's your opinion on there's a strategy with the mental and also the financial commitment, because a lot of people do things. They get monthly memberships at their gym. They do, they do a day pass, or they do a 3-month. What do you feel like the importance is in terms of the year commitment? Because a lot of times it's you save really if it's over the long run, but it's more upfront. What do you feel is the psychological impact of committing for the year versus doing like a monthly membership?
Well, to me, it was just that I had to show myself that I was going to do this for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, in the very beginning, that was probably what it was. I didn't know where I'd be now mentally, but I knew if I did it for a month, you get the free session. At my gym, they give you one free session with a trainer. And so if I would have just done that, I don't know if I would have been successful. And I knew doing this, it's like, okay, now I'm taking money away from something else I could be doing with my wife. We could be going away for the weekend or whatever. And so I better make sure that I'm, going to the gym and using him the way I was meant to be. And so that was part of it for me. It was just, making that commitment and then bettering me. I mean, I used to hate that saying. It's like, you hear people say, well, you're going to spend this on medication or whatever, so you better pay for a trainer or something now. And
Right.
He didn't do that. So I really appreciated that. And he's younger, he's 30. And but I've never been hurt from using this guy. And so everything, I just connected with him really well. And, he pushes me, but he pushes me to the right limit. I mean, I've actually left the gym and I've thrown up, but I was like, cool. That was in the beginning. And it's like, but I never was too sore. I couldn't work out the next day. I've never been injured from working out with him. So, I mean, all those things have just been, it's been really good for me. And I say now I know I can go to any gym and not have to worry about what the gym atmosphere is.
Yeah.
I'll do my workout and get it done and get out. And,
Oh, you're in, man.
so
Yeah, you got it. What Youper Thump on Periscope. How old are you again, Dennis? He was asking how old you are.
I'm 54.
54.
Yeah, 54.
Okay, gotcha. And I'm just putting up your transformation pick again. All right, so you got into it is a commitment, and you did say something where, okay, this weekend I could be going out, I could be doing this, so the money, that is often a valuable tool to say, okay, if you buy, let's say, a Starbucks coffee every day and that's $3, I mean, if you do 5 days a week, that's 15, that's $60 a month. That adds up. And that's 2 gym memberships, or that's that's a lot of money. Did you ever do that on a small scale like that, see what your daily habits were and then add that up and kind of feel sick to your stomach? Because I've done that in the past when I thought about how much I've spent on certain things or supplements in the past, and you realize, man, that stuff, those little things, I pack a gum every day, it adds up.
Yeah, I mean, especially when I was eating bad at the beginning, and like realizing that sometimes it'd be $20 I would spend on basically nothing. You're talking 7-Eleven and AM, PM. What am I buying that's almost $20 a day? And so it'd be like, now it's like if I get a coffee in the morning, and so it's if I'm bringing my food, then it's like I'm not spending really any more money than that.
Yeah.
And so, and then now before when I would go to Starbucks, it'd be the crummy drinks. Now it's iced coffee, so that's cheaper when you do that. And
Sure.
trying to do the bulletproof coffee now. I'm gonna start doing that and try that out, and because I haven't tried that, and so I'm gonna do that. But it's just it's like the money just adds up, and like you said, I mean, you got a gym membership. If you're going to Starbucks 3 times a week, you don't go there. Okay, what's more important, your Frappuccino or going to the gym and being healthy?
Agreed.
And once you stop, and so that's what I've learned. Like, that's why you see the mental part comes in, because you really got to change your whole attitude. It's like, like to me, it's still not okay to have a cheat meal. I mean, would I lose? Would I gain anything? Probably not. Would I be okay with it? Probably. But what's the point if I don't want to do it? I mean,
yeah.
And,
I think rewards are fine. I think rewarding yourself is fine.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not a dog, but you're a human being, and I think treating yourself. But I don't think rewarding with food is the answer. Dogs like that. Oh, you're a good boy. You lay down.
Right.
Here's a treat. You're a human being. Treating yourself with garbage is not the way. And there's so many people that associate healthy food with being expensive. I did an Instagram story the other day. Sweet potatoes. I mean, 70 cents a pound, $1 a pound. I got a bag, literally, and it's a few bucks, and it's one of the best foods you could possibly eat, and it's not expensive. I mean, if you offset that with the grass-fed beef, and you get it from, you could do your research, you're really not spending, plus you're getting more value and more nutrients when you're eating, so you don't need quite as much volume. The nutrient density. I mean, did you find any savings, or did you realize that yourself? Like, how quickly did you come to that realization where it's really not that expensive? It's better this way, not to mention, of course, you feel better.
Exactly. I mean, like, and then it depends where you all live, but like out here, there's Trader Joe's, and then there's Whole Foods. Well, Whole Foods is way more expensive to go to get the same thing. And it's like, so I'll go to Trader Joe's and get, like you said, sweet potatoes for 70 cents a pound, where you go to Whole Foods and they're $1.89 a pound. I'm like, okay, why am I going to double that? I'm getting the same thing. So, and then like we have a couple places near where we live that are sell organic stuff, and we have farmers markets and stuff. So, that's always cheaper. We try to get the vegetables and stuff from there, and it supports the community. Plus, it's organic, so it's better for me. And so, yeah, I don't see a huge difference, considering, before, just from breakfast to lunch, I'm spending up to $20 a day. That adds up way more than spending a few extra dollars for grass-fed.
What were you buying?
So,
what were you buying at 7-Eleven for $20? I know it can add up quick because they usually price those things for the convenience. But what were you getting? What was a regular, like an average haul when you went into 7-Eleven? What were you picking up?
Well, it'd be a drink, a coffee, and like I'd buy, say, like even beef jerky, but then I would get pizza. I mean, AMPM, you get like Dodger dogs, and so it's like if you go there a couple times a day, and the time you're done, it's about anywhere from $16 to $20. And I was like, gosh, and not feeling good at all about yourself. I mean, really, once especially they say you realize what you're spending, and like that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I know.
And so,
my.
And then, like I said, now it's like spending money on good stuff. It's worth it. It's so much worth it. So much better tasting. Like you say, you don't eat as much because it's filling. And
bro, we used to have a dare. I think like in college, we go into 7-Eleven late at night. Like, who's gonna eat that hot dog that's just rotating on the thing, like that chalupa, that one that's just.
That was me in the morning.
And there's only one there. It's 3 a.m. You're like, ooh, how long has that been there? Just marinating on that metal spigot. Yeah, Aaron Hardy on Facebook. I like Whole Foods, but we call it Whole Paycheck for a reason. It's expensive, and what's interesting to me is everyone's the craze with organic, and I think that's it hasn't calmed down, but there's a lot of misconception about what really organic means,
Yeah.
as if organic food is grown in the clouds somewhere with like leprechauns and unicorns and
Right.
rainbows. I mean, it's still sprayed with shit. It's still,
Yep.
blah blah blah. So the there are better decisions, right? You mentioned Trader Joe. There's better places you can do those co-ops with those local farms. You can order food online. There's different methods, but a lot of people just write off, okay, healthy food is at Whole Foods and that's too expensive for me. Done. Well, not everything
Yeah.
has to be super organic. Not everything is processed or sprayed the same way, and it just takes a little bit of time on Google. Did you spend? What was your amount of, aside from being a part of Soulnormous X and doing with your trainer? Was there Where was your I should say your personal investment in terms of your time spent on like Google, for example, just researching stuff on your own? Did you do a lot of that?
Yeah, I did a lot of that, but then that's one thing like I got to give my wife credit for because she's like, I mean, research queen. I mean, when it comes to anything, and
Oh,
so
nice.
I mean, if we and it's great because if we were buying something, she's like, well, wait a minute, let's see if we can get this cheaper here or something like that, and 9 out of 10 times she will. So she'll look at like stuff that's on sale. Well, I never went that far. I would look at like, okay, wait, I want to get salmon or something today, and she'll like, okay, well, this Costco's cheaper than this, and it's farmed, and I mean, so she would do all that. So basically, my wife's the one like will find the deals for what I want to eat, and she'll go and she'll do that. And so that's been great.
I think she's on here, Kimberly.
Yeah, that's my wife.
Yeah, she's on here. She says on Facebook, I never knew he was doing that, so you exposed yourself.
Uh,
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh man, that's
she
funny.
knows she's the one that wrote last time when I had a man crush. So I'm talking about man crush on.
It's far out. I mean, it's a process, man. It's a journey, and obviously, a lot of it is that self discovery. A lot of that is you figuring out what works best for you. And what's your opinion on finding your own path? Because there's so many. It's very easy to try to watch what I do and ask what I'm doing and try to copy another program or copy another fitness personality. Or what's your take on? I'm very big on individuality, and I think a lot of these different eating styles and habits and training styles and intermittent fasting or keto or paleo, whatever it is, a lot of that applies to your individual lifestyle, not necessarily your goals, but both of those things, because it has to be something you can be consistent with, right? It has to be something that you can actually adhere to, and if not, then you're not going to you're not going to be successful.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I try to talk to people that have actually done, their opinion of it, and if I respect their opinion.
Right.
But I mean, yeah, it's basically my own path too. And then, like I say, my wife has a lot of knowledge on the nutrition part, so she'll explain why this vegetable might be better with this, and so I listen to her and like other people. But basically, it comes down to me, I'll try anything once I get enough opinions that this could be good, this could work. But like you had said too, the one thing, like my trainers never told me what to eat, and I remember that video. Like, if anybody ever tells you what to eat, then you should just leave them immediately. And he's never ever done that. And so it's like I've figured out like what's good for me and what works, and that's been really helpful to do it on your own, like the elimination diet.
Hmm.
Like I say, I recommend that to everybody because you really do find out what. You're like, wow, I didn't realize that, that didn't agree with me. And, it's funny how stuff like that, little things like that, just going without it. And then you're like, wow, I feel better. And, information's gone. And
Yeah, yeah, and it's just doing your own scientific study on yourself, and it takes time, it takes effort. It's not easy, but it's not a handout, and no one's just handing you a sheet. I think it's much harder if I were to say, okay, Dennis, here's your new diet plan. You're going to eat these foods, this amount, and you're going to eat 2,200 calories, and blah blah blah. You're going to have to read this, and then there's every time you see a food on the list or a certain amount or a caloric intake or whatever it is, each one of those little things, whether it's half a cup of this, they're each a chance for failure because it's hard to follow that to a T. It's hard to get into a routine that it's kind of like putting yourself into a cage and there's no wiggle room and you don't have any education or knowledge on what to do in case you can't eat that. When you're learning what your body can handle, you can make better decisions even on the fly and you're just more consistent overall. Because even if you don't have food and you have to make a decision at a restaurant, you know that, okay, milk and dairy is really bad for me. Hey, excuse me, does this dish have dairy in it? Oh, okay, can you make it without this? Or you have the knowledge. You have the knowledge, and knowledge is power when it comes to your body.
Oh, definitely, yeah. I mean, that's why I'm saying that this is so helpful to know those things, because you don't realize that till you do it and you go without it. And I mean, like I was eating almonds, like I mentioned before, I was eating almonds, and now I realize I can't have a lot. I can have almonds, but I can't have like 12 or more. It's not the same as me having like 6 almonds in the morning or whatever.
Right.
Walnuts I do better with. So it's like, just I never would have thought the difference between those two nuts would be big difference for me, but they are. I can have more walnuts than I can, almonds, and so. Back then, and like dairy when I was a kid, I mean, I don't drink milk now, but I drank milk, all that stuff, like I guess every kid does growing up. And now it's like, if I have a little dairy, sometimes it's a coffee, but then I can feel that when I do that. So
Yeah.
it's better for me to have a nice coffee with, nothing in it. And I do better that way.
Yeah. You learn what works best for you, and then you could always manipulate that, but you know what the side effect is. If you know when you have dairy, you're going to crap your brains out, then you're obviously not going to run to the ice cream section. So there's the knowledge. And are there any foods? I'm sure a lot of them, but are there any specific foods that you used to eat all the time? I'm sure there's many of them, but that you would always have a craving for, a craving, and now you just can't stand the thought of it or the sight of it.
Yeah, that's kind of funny, actually. Certain foods, and some I think I still do crave in my head that I liked before, but like there's foods like sandwiches, really, like submarine sandwiches. I used to like Subway and stuff, but they just don't sound as good as they used to.
Yeah.
Sometimes I still talk about pizza, but it really, when I think about it, it really doesn't sound like as good as it does. I mean, I don't see me having pizza unless I make it or something from scratch, because I don't. Going and get a Domino's pizza is not going to happen. So there's stuff like that. Mexican food, I think I still crave. That was like the hugest thing for me. Is I love Mexican food, but I haven't really had much of that either. I mean, and so it's I just kind of nothing sounds as good as it did, for sure. I mean, as far as like the bad stuff, but I don't. I like even like sodas, alcohol, none of that. Just like I know that. I guess now I just knowing that I shouldn't have it makes it better for me to just not worry about it.
Yeah, the knowledge about what it actually causes and how it treats your body, and you know that it's just damaging, there's no benefit from it, it's less inspiring, or it's less enticing, I should say. You don't want to have it because it's not going to help you. And I've said that so many times. Is what you're putting in your face hole how is this helping me? And if it's not helping you, then why are you eating it? Do you not have a goal? Do you not have something you want to try to accomplish? Why would you do this? And then, everyone has their own decision, but if you have that information, you have that knowledge, and you have that awareness on what's good or bad for your body, you can make those decisions on the fly. But I like what you said, Aaron Hardy on Facebook. If I have pizza, it's always homemade. Yeah, I mean, I think most people, or a lot of people, have tried to do those things and made them from scratch, and it's more effort, so you're less likely to do it. And when you do it, you use better ingredients or whatever that is for your allergies and stuff like that. But yeah, you adapt, you live, and you move on. You realize what's real, what's fake. And once you start having real food consistently, you can tell, you can taste just everything that's fake and everything else, and just some of the things you just didn't expect to be bad. Was there anything for you that you actually thought was healthy to begin with, but you eliminated and realized, like, damn, I get jacked up when I have this?
Probably dairy, like cheese and stuff. I mean, I didn't in the beginning, I didn't think cheese was that bad, but it makes me congested.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't make me like run to the bathroom, but so I don't really eat that anymore. I don't add cheese to anything, and always have that on sandwiches or whatever. And it's like, yeah, so I think probably dairy's been the biggest one that I thought was more healthy than and realizing it doesn't do me any good.
Yeah. That's that's a lot of marketing. Milk, it does the body good. That's such a huge industry. And the great thing about the internet is you get a lot more information. You get a lot more information, a lot more sides to the story on why things got popular. We're not in the dark anymore. And people have a choice and you have the ability to look at this, what would you recommend for someone who feels, and we had this conversation yesterday a little bit. What would you recommend for someone who says, well, I don't know what to eat. I don't know what to do. Yeah, I mean, I want to eat healthier, but I have no idea what to do. There's so many things out there. There's so many options. Do you find that an excuse? And like, do you feel like people really inherently do know what to eat and they know better, or are they just like, what's that all about?
Well, I definitely think it's an excuse, but I also believe that, I've learned more as time goes on what's better for me, but I mean, there's so much you can research. God, YouTube has everything. Look for foods that are anti-inflammatory. Look for, okay, do I like this? Do I like this vegetable? Okay, well, yeah, this is good. Asparagus, I like asparagus. I mean, that's kind of what I did too, finding out what's better for me, thinking, okay, this food's good for me, like realizing, like when I first started, like bananas, I like bananas, but then realizing there's more carbs in bananas. I didn't know that in the beginning. So it's like, okay, you could have half the nutritionist told me that when I had the diabetes, and I'm like, I just won't have a banana. So, I mean, I eliminated that. But, now I kind of look at food more as like, it's something that it's fuel for my body more than just going out. And in the past, it'd be like, oh, I enjoy this meal. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I do like steak and, vegetables if we go out and stuff like that's good, but I don't look at it as much as I used to as far as like, that was the ultimate thing, to have a good meal. It's like, it's more fuel for me now.
Yeah.
And I got to work on that stuff because sometimes I don't eat enough actually, and that's not good. I know, and that's nobody's fault but mine.
Well, there's that, there's always those. Yeah, but that's on like the daily thing. Like, so one day you don't eat enough food. Okay, but you're back on it. So now it's just a matter of keeping the bike pedaling, keeping your momentum, keeping it moving forward and just tweaking along the way. Cause obviously I would have to say you've done most of the hard work and most of the grunt work. And now now is the time where the consistency and the discipline and, putting your head down and crushing it is just as important, because your results are going to slow and it's going to take that mental strength to keep moving forward. A lot of people will quit now or back off and just feel, oh, it's so hard. What do I do? Rather than just keep moving forward and have more patience. It's just about just keep going forward. And, Brad on Facebook was talking about how everything has the same ingredients, and, you're well aware, everything's got corn, everything's got, corn starch and all these different subsects of what's subsidized by the government, and all these foods are pretty much the same. They're all refined. And if you're eating around the outside of the supermarket, like, are there any strategies? Like, do you have, when you go shopping, I don't know if you go shopping or your wife or both, but do you just stay to the outside of the supermarket? Do you have a list before you go in ahead of time? Like, what's your strategy for shopping?
It's usually a list. We don't. It pretty much is the outside. But that's just the way. That's just kind of the way it works out to become a list. But yeah, it's definitely a list to me. For me anyway, when I go, I rarely go by myself anymore. But it's better for me just to have a list and go to the list. I don't want to go look and say, oh, there's this, because then you end up, there's temptation there that, I don't necessarily need right now. I don't think it would bother me, but I try to be disciplined as I can. Just go for my list. This is what I know I need, and this is how much of this I need, how much of that I need, and how many days I'm gonna this for. So that works better for me, just to go with a list.
Yeah, I agree with that. I use lists too. If you just stick and kind of keep your head down, you don't reach those temptations. I don't feel those cravings anymore. I'm to the point where, I almost like, I think I'm just so used to, I monitor myself. I'm so used to being in front of the camera, and I'm so used to doing a certain way. I don't even go down those aisles because I feel like I'm just observing myself. I'm like, don't, practice what you preach. But I don't really have cravings for those things. I don't have cravings for chips. I don't have cravings for ice cream. I like fruit. I'll have watermelon or something, or frozen mango, or if I want something dessert like, but I have something that's a real food product. And since I've been doing such a high fat diet, and because my food is nutrient dense, I just don't have cravings, because I have the nutrients I need. If you're having more quality food that are more nutrient dense, you don't have the same cravings because your body is satisfied. Do you get hunger pains? Like, do you have like bigger meals? Do you eat more small meals? What's your kind of daily intake like?
I think it's smaller, but the only time I get hungry is when, like I say, when I'm the one that's messed up and didn't eat. So it's like, it's not really, it's more, my fault. But I mean, if I'm eating usually it's 3 meals a day, then yeah, I don't get hungry at all. It is about just basically just fueling my body more than just feeding hunger. It's I don't really get hungry as very often. I'm not like I don't. I wish I could have something to eat right now.
Did you ever do anything like intermittent fasting or any kind of like diet strategy, or just overall changing how you were eating?
Yeah, I've done that. In the intermittent fasting, I did research on that with people I talked to, and it was going on the internet. And I mean, it seemed like it would work, but then like my I get up so early that it'd be like almost 6 hours of still being awake before I could have anything to eat. So it doesn't necessarily work for me to do every day. So I kind of just got that. But I actually want to try, in a sense, more of a keto diet, lower carb. I mean, not eliminating carbs. I don't want to do that. Higher fats like the avocado and definitely salmon and, like you say, the grass-fed beef and kind of what you're doing.
Yeah.
I mean, that seems to be working better for me now. But I mean, I do need to be more consistent. I don't meal prep as good as I should. That's definitely on me. I need to just go and here's at least 3 days of meal prep and do it. And sometimes I tend not to do that, but
that just goes to show that you still have. I mean, and that's a positive thing. So that's really positive because you've seen all this amazing progress, and if you still have things like that you can tighten up, I mean, the only direction is up. Like, you're going to see better progress. You're going to see change by tweaking those things. Even from all the change that you've already seen. Good dog biscuit. Let's see. Rachel on Facebook. I believe people genuinely don't know how to eat healthy. Some people like myself have been raised on nothing but $5 pizza and fast food. People don't take the time to research what's the healthiest for them and expect answers in the palms of their hands and quit once they fail. I think that's just really self-responsibility. What's your thought on that, Dennis?
Oh, I agree. I mean, because there's so much, if you are raised that way, I mean, you can definitely, like I said, do the research. I mean, I look online for things, and then, like I said, my wife is very knowledgeable that way. So I go to her, and, she'll, how certain berries are better than these berries. And it's like, I mean, I constantly want to learn more about, what's better for my body. And, like I said, this next year, I guess if I had to, put something into a year, I mean, I still want to lose and, tighten up, but I want to learn more about my nutrition part of it. Then, I mean, I definitely going to do the workout part. That's definitely important, but I want to, tweak my nutrition where it's more of a consistent and, finding out what everything is I can have that really is good for me. And so I'm still learning that. And, that's why I find it exciting about being a life journey, not just a goal, because I get, the rest of my life to keep learning, and I don't ever want to stop learning, from workouts, different workouts to, my nutrition. But right now I really want to focus this year on my nutrition and get that, nail. I think that'll make a huge difference on my body for the next year's transformation. So
absolutely, man. I mean, you're always learning, and the knowledge is in the palm of our hands with the cell phones, and it's just time and effort and your own personal intent and desire to see change. I mean, this has been an amazing podcast, man. So I really appreciate your time. What I want to do right now is actually kind of like a closing statement. If there's something, one thing or a phrase or a mindset or a concept that you would recommend to anyone watching or listening to the podcast later, what's one thing you would like to leave the Swolenormous Nation with, in terms of your own personal experience with fitness?
Just don't make excuses, because if you do, you're going to fail. I mean, you can fail and get back on, but realistically, if you got an hour, you can go to the gym. And that was my path. I always made excuses, and I did that from the beginning. Like I said, my wife made me a shirt and said no excuses, and I still wear that. And then find people like you, definitely that don't bullshit you and give you the truth, and going to tell you, get off the couch and do it. You're not going to get in shape by sitting on the couch, and just follow these people, and anything that can motivate you. if you believe in motivation, I believe more in discipline now. I believe in motivation, I think, in the beginning, but you can't make excuses. Just start today. Don't start Monday. I was one of those guys. I'll do it Monday. Why? So 2 days you're going to eat crappie and make it worse?
Yeah.
Just no excuses. I'm really a firm believer in that, and so that I think that was what was huge for me. It's just like, okay, you got this. You can, okay, you're going to the gym today, you're doing this. And because once you stop that, then it becomes just a part of your life. And,
Brad says, this podcast is not complete unless you say that everyone needs to get off their candy asses, because that's a Stone Cold thing. So
everybody needs to get off their candy ass.
There you go. There you go. Boom. Steve Austin has spoken. I'll just put this right over I'm going to put this right over your head on the podcast. There you go. That's a Stone Cold, Stone Cold Dennis right here. Bro, thank you so much. Thank you so much for your time today. That's been absolute fire podcast, and I know everyone's going to get tons of benefits from this. Yeah, find a community, Kim. Absolutely. It's about finding your path. It's about finding what works best for you, but the first is wanting it and doing it. And I agree 100%, no excuses. An excuse is literally just a reason not to have what you want. So you can make them all you want, but you're only hurting yourself.
Exactly.
All right, my man.
Thank you so much, too. I really appreciate this.
You got it, man. My pleasure. And I hope I look to do it again sometime. So if you want to follow Dennis on Instagram, it's at No Excuses Used, which is very fitting as per this entire episode and, of course, your final statement. But Dennis, thanks again, bro. And I'll hit you up after this episode. Thanks again for your time, bro.
All right. Thanks again, Des. Take it easy, fam.
You got it. Take care, dude.
All right.
As always, an amazing interview episode. And Dennis has been around for quite some time in the community, and just such a positive influence. And that's what I really do appreciate. I want to thank him, but I also want to thank everyone that watches and everyone that comments. There's such positivity. There's absolutely nothing ever that's negative, that's undercutting. And it's really, that is what, that's when people come in, that's really inspiring. It's inspiring to me. Stories like that inspires me, and I don't know if that's being selfish, but I'm going to have a fucking great workout today just from having this conversation. And I love getting to know everyone more intimately and really sharing their stories, because it's one thing for me to yell at you and slap you upside the head and say, get the fuck off your butt. And it's a whole other thing for you to hear from someone who's literally in the trenches, that has done it, that has seen massive weight loss. Him today, Steve yesterday. It's amazing what you can do on your own. But you have all these resources. You have this community, right? You have the Swolenormous community. You have your family and friends if they're supportive. But if not, you have to find that community. You have to find that community. You find your gym. You find your people, right? Find your tribe. I think that applies whether it's an online tribe, whether it's your circle at college or at work. You surround yourself. It doesn't matter how. You surround yourself with the people that inspire you. You surround yourself with the people that educate you. You surround yourself with the people that are going to move you forward. And that's not a selfish thing. That's a self-development thing. And you have to look out for yourself. You have to do things that's right by you, that will help develop you as a person and deliver you what makes you happy. And no one can tell you what that is, right? No one can tell you what makes you happy. No one can tell you what your goal is, what your vision is, what your purpose is. But that's something that you need to figure out, but it doesn't have to be finalized from day one. You have to figure this out. Sometimes things will change. You'll get involved with yoga and you'll love yoga. You go down more that road, or you love running and cardio and you go more down the endurance road. And that's fine. What you enjoy, what you want physically, whatever your goal and your ambitions are, it's all on you. So no excuses. Take that advice and take that to the bank. So you can follow Dennis again. No Excuses Used on Instagram. And for everyone that was repping here today, I really appreciate your time. Remember, there's only a couple days left. Those of you that are on the fence or thinking about joining Swolenormous X, the coupon, the code, the special offer Swole50 is expiring in just a couple days. There's still some time available But don't wait till the last minute. You've seen me talk about it before, and I've been yapping about it. And you're going to hear a lot more about it over the next couple days because it expires on the 4th of July. But Swole 50 at checkout for the unlimited membership. Now is the time to do it. If you're ever thinking about it, now is the time. The monthly is half off when you join, and the yearly is 25% off when you join. So that's literally hands down an absolute amazing offer. And join the community, join the private fam, join the Swolenormous X fam, and it's very easy to do so. So Swole 50 at checkout, you get all the information. Just check out swolenormousx.com. And of course, we're live Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Periscope, Instagram. Not today. Sorry, IG. We had a phone call again. So you all got to come check out the main show here on those platforms. But you can catch this very, very shortly on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Swolenormous, the Daily Swole podcast, and also dropped a new episode, a brand new audio log on the Swolenormous experience. So go follow both of those podcasts. I just dropped it. It's like an audio behind the scenes, super cool. It's called Swole World Episode 1. So that's on the Swolenormous audio experience. So you got some more audio gains for you. And I really hope you enjoyed this episode. So thank you for joining me. And if you caught the tail end, I highly recommend going back to the beginning and absorbing every aspect of this because it was very powerful, very inspiring. And that's what we do here. That's what we do. We keep on making sick fucking gains every damn day. So thank you, fam, for joining me for episode 785 of the most muscular Swolecast, Beardcast, Broadcast, Gaincast, Mancast, Pimpcast, and Slaycast in the realm. Because when I flex, you flex, we all flex our biceps. I will see everyone tomorrow for episode 786. Peace, McGee's fam. Deuce, Magoose. A Papa Swillio. Out.